Okay, so the stream is started. I'm just gonna go to the YouTube to verify if everything is showing up as I want it to be showing. Okay, currently it's just showing my webcam. So let's move to this. Okay, and just gonna go verify if it's showing my screen as well. Or yes, it is. Perfect. So it's, I'm gonna say first, second, third time I'm gonna try using OBS. Like I'm trying to go live using OBS, and I have created two different scenes. One has my webcam all on the full screen, and on the other scene I have my webcam and display capture. I can even show it to you guys. It's gonna look creepy, but here you can see scene 1 where I am at, and if I click on scene 2 you can just see my face all on the screen. Okay, so back to the other screen, and we are going to do some changes on Proxmox. Alright, so yeah, I'm showing the correct view on my OBS. So let's go to, let's say, Proxmox 02. So I remember doing some changes on this one. If I have, then let's check. This mic is blocking my hand, so I'm gonna just move it a little bit over. Okay, so currently the version is 9.1.1 and there are few things running. So let's go to another server. Gonna say this one, 2, 3. Oops. Okay, and then the password for it, and hopefully this is the version where I didn't do anything. Yes, this is the one with just the install, and you can see like bunch of errors, apt update, and why we are receiving or why we are having these kind of errors. What's the issue? I'm gonna tell you how you can fix that. And you can see also the uptime is 40 days, so it's been a month and a half almost. I installed it and I never touched it. So let's start with fixing this error. So you can see it says apt-get update error code 100. So the best way is to know what is code 100 is to go try this command yourself, apt update or apt-get update. Since it's using Debian, like the Proxmox is based on Debian, so you can type apt-get update or apt update, and then if you see any kind of errors there, which is like familiar or you can understand, then it would be easy. Otherwise we will go dig more. So step by step. And one more thing, on the stream I don't know how to see the chats. Well, anyways, if I see anything on the screen it should notify me. Okay, so let's go to, okay, so first of all, go to the node, then click on shell, and if all the DNS and everything is correct, you should be able to type commands using the domain name. I'm using FQD, and you can see Proxmox03 and then my domain.com or .uk or whatever. So if you see like some kind of errors on like you are able to access this your Proxmox main screen using your domain name, but if you click on anything like shell or anything and you see some kind of errors like you're not able to access it or access error or something like that, then it simply means something is not correct on FQDN. So you just need to check three things. hosts and make sure your host is set to this with the local IP address. And then you need to check simply if you type hostname CTL, it's going to show you your host name, static host name, and stuff like that. Also, you can type the command hostname CTL set whatever host name you want to set, so it will set the host name. Also, there is another file called hostname, and here you can set your host name exactly as your FQDN. All right, so we were receiving errors for apt update, so I'm gonna just go ahead and type apt update, and you can see I'm already logged in as root, so I don't need to type sudo. I'm gonna hit enter, and let's see what kind of errors we see here. Okay, so first of all, it says error, failed to fetch enterprise.proxmox.com. Now it makes sense. What's the error? I hope you guys understood what is exactly the error. If not, no problem. So the error is related to the enterprise level, what you call that, lists, source list in the sources. So there are two different ways. Either you can remove from like using the CLI, or the easy one is to go into your node and then find the repositories, or sorry, not the, I think it should be in the, yeah, it's in the repositories, and then check the subscription keys as well. So you can see here we don't have any kind of enterprise level subscription. So that's why it's receiving error that there is a repository available which is trying to connect to the enterprise. So here you can see we have this enterprise.proxmox.com. So I'm just going to click on disable on this one, and then check the other one, security.debian. We don't want to disable this one. deb.debian, this is from Debian. You don't want to disable this as well. And then there is another one, enterprise.proxmox.com, and this is for the Ceph. Since we're using only one server, we're not going to use the Ceph services. If you have like more than one node and you configured what you call that, clustering, then you can use that feature. But we are not using any kind of enterprise level feature, so that's why we're going to disable this. And then we're going to add another repository, and it should be no subscription. Like we don't have any subscription, so just add this one. And let's try the command again. Now you can see there was no error. Once again, I'm going to try that again. No errors at all. So we fixed error number one. And next thing is it's saying to apt upgrade. So there are some pending upgrades. Okay. So one thing, if you just type this command, it won't like completely upgrade until you confirm. So it's going to check all the packages, then it's going to tell you what's available, what's missing, what's going to be updated, and it's going to give you some summary, and then disk space required and the download size. So the downloaded, it's going to take this much space for downloading the file. So those are going to be in like some kind of zip file system, and it will extract those, and that will become almost 2 gigs. And it's saying the available space is this. So do you want to continue? If I press Y, then it will continue. Otherwise, if I press no, it will just cancel. The upgrade is abort. Okay. Why I abort this? Because I'm going to go into my machine here, and under summary, first thing, to make sure the resources, the disk, how much things are going to be used, because I'm doing that on test machine, but there are most likely chances you are doing this on, let's say, a production machine. So you don't want to like run out of resources for your running machines, because for this kind of upgrades, I don't think a reboot is required. But if you see like RAM usage or the CPU usage is high, then I will recommend not to do upgrades at that time. Okay, and then another thing, hold on, there was some something here. Yeah, package versions, and I guess there was an option to upgrade in the Proxmox as well. So I'm gonna go into, let's say, repositories. It should be there, or if I go to data center, no, there was something on the top. I remember updating that sometimes in past. So in search, there shouldn't be anything. Okay, let's go under system. Maybe it's there. Nope. Network, certificates, options, and oh, sorry, it was updates. So I missed actually uh, the main part, like which was in front of my face and kept moving to other stuff. Yeah, that happens. I'm a human too. Okay, so here you can see it's showing the origin Debian 64 blah 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 packages, which has like bind used for DNS and stuff, base files. It's a base Debian file system. In it is for, I think, meta packages or something like that, and there are like many more OpenSSL. So with the time you will understand like one by one all these packages, because when I started learning Linux, I didn't know anything about it. I was like, these are just packages for what? I don't know. But yeah, when you like keep working or keep learning things, you get to know everything. Okay, so this package is for this for this, like ZFS or is for ZFS system. If you don't know about ZFS, it's not a problem. But okay, so we're going to update it, upgrade using this. So just click on no VNC. It's going to open up another page, which is going to be, I guess, shell. And you can see it's showing me exact same amount of the updates, which the packages which are going to be updated. So this was the download size, 628 MBs when I typed the command apt upgrade, and then this was the size, like file size, which will be required. So this is the second method. First, using the command. If you don't know the command, it's fine. You can just simply click on upgrade and it's going to show you the same thing. So, but I like doing that with the command line because it shows more overview. If you just type this, it's not going to show you anything. So make sure in the command line, whatever you type, you know what is going to be the result of that. So always type this so you see what's going to happen. Like after typing this command, it's showing me it's going to be upgrading base files, curl, blah blah blah, OpenSSL, and all those, and then it's going to install the dependencies for some of those packages, and these are going to be installed, like network. I have heard about it, but I don't know what that is. But the kernel version, you can see, going to be updated to 6.17 for PVE. Well, anyways, okay. Suggested packages are resolve conf, DHCP clients, DDNS. Well, anyways, the summary is it's going to upgrade 125 packages. It's going to install 19 packages. It's going to remove 0. It's not upgrading none, removing none. So download size will be this, and required size is 2 GB, and I have like more than 92 GB available. So let's hit Y and continue. Plugin manager, installed tools. There was another window for chat and stuff. I don't know where that is now. It's maybe gone. Who knows? Okay, if I go to this. Okay, well, never mind. Okay, so I don't see anybody viewing this live or anything for now. No idea. So you can see here, we have this. So it's updating the kernel. That's the reason it's asking me to choose keyboard, and it's going to ask me a few more things as well. Okay. So make sure you select the one you have, and when you select it, press tab, then it's gonna show you this red highlighted. That means it's selected. Okay, hit enter, and I think that was for the PVE, the Proxmox virtual environment, which is called PVE, I guess. Never searched, but and you can see the Proxmox virtual environment 9.0.3 is currently installed. So if it's going to update everything, it should update to the latest version. So let's just simply go to Proxmox website and check what the latest version is. So the latest version is 9.1. Okay. And then I'm just going to minimize this and let it run. So the progress is almost 55% completed. And I'll be right, yeah, I'll be right back in a minute. So I'm just going to turn my camera off. I'm back. And it's still in the progress. Okay, so update is completed. So in future, we will not see any kind of those update errors for specifically Proxmox 3, what I'm using for this live stream. All right, and then the next thing. So first thing first, we updated it. So it's updated, and let me just refresh and see if it's updated to 9.1 or something. Oh my God, yes, you can see it's updated to 9.1.4. So previously it was 9.0 something, but so on Proxmox VE version 9, the Debian version is 13, and on version 8, the Debian version is 12. So if you're moving from 8 to 9, it's going to be a jump of like updating the operating system itself from number 12 to number 13. That can be sometime painful because sometimes there are errors you need to fix. If you're not familiar enough with the operating system, then I'll suggest not to update, because there are many people that are still using version 8. Even I have a Proxmox server where I do more testing for my lab, for myself, for my learning. I didn't update it because I wanted to keep that version just in case if there is some comments, like somebody asking me to like guide me through uh, this steps, and I have like older version. So before performing any kind of task, any kind of lab, or any kind of solution to the clients, or like creating video for my viewers, I definitely would like to check on my personal server first. If I'm able to like get it fixed, then I'm gonna go ahead and share the fix. How did I fix it? And even I was having so many emails and comments related to the Nginx Proxy Manager older version, which were having the global directory error. So I had to work on a script. Like it took me days to like build everything, and then I shared it for free. Well, I'm not worried about my views, how many views I'm getting, but if it did help even one person or 5 person, and they were like, "Oh my God, that saved a lot of my time and so much energy doing other stuff." It was just one script, one line. You just put in your code, and your everything is good. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into the settings of the node. So first we updated it, and I'm gonna show first the node stuff, then we will go through the data center. What's the difference? So let's say you set up cluster. Like in one of my videos, I showed you guys how you can set up cluster. If you have 3, 4, even more Proxmox servers, and they're like they are able to connect or talk to each other, they're in that kind of environment. So you can say, let's say you have 5 servers in any of the data center. You're renting 5 servers, and you don't want to access, oh sorry, I'm not going to say this is not going to be a good term, like, well, that's another term if you want to access all servers in one place. So data center can centralize all of those servers at one place, but there's like more features comes with that. You can replicate all of the servers you have on one server, and you can do high availability. Like if one server goes down, you don't need to do anything at all the services will automatically switch to the next available server. And I have done that. I'm not sure I created video on that or not, but that was so much pain because I was trying that on 2 servers, which was not which was not like a good practice. And I think Proxmox doesn't even allow doing that on 2 servers. So you have to have at least 3 servers to use high availability. But there are a few tweaks you can do. But again, the more modification you do, it's going to be like more pain in the future. I'm not going to say modification, it's some kind of editing you do. So that means you're like doing some, let's say you have a Honda Civic and it comes with a default size tire, but you want the bigger tire on the front. So you are changing the company made stuff. So now it's on you. If something happens, you can't claim Honda to like, oh, this was not good, or I had accident, or blah blah blah. No, it's all gonna be on you because you did changes. So uh, Linux operating system, like even on Proxmox, you can modify things if you are like familiar enough with the operating system, and you can edit files, you can do any kind of modification tweaks. But whatever happens, it's going to be on you. So doing clustering on two server is not a good idea, but still you can do that. As I said, it's up to you. It's open source. Okay. So I don't see any chat. I don't know anybody is available or not. But anyways, so we are going to next step. So first thing we did update, and next thing, let's say if you go to options, we don't have enough options here. And in the node itself, in the summary, it's pretty simple, not a rocket science. You can see your uptime, CPU usage, RAM usage, and then in the graphs as well. In the nodes, you can put all the nodes. Like if you have 10 machines and you want to like, you have this plan. Okay, my machine number one is going to be this firewall. Machine number two is going to be, let's say, a web host, or it's going to be, let's say, Nginx proxy manager. Let's say it's going to be machine number four is going to be Docker. Machine number five is going to be specifically for a special client, and it's going to be a WordPress, and a client requested, I want to have like Ubuntu 24 and specifically with this much RAM. So it's all about the money. As much the client is paying, you can provide all the resources, whatever it is. But next thing is shell, which is shell, no biggie. And then in the system, okay, so here are all these services. If you feel like any of the services needs to be restarted and you don't know the command, and it happens sometimes, you're searching for the command and you can't find it. Even on the Google, you search for something and nothing comes up. Then here is the best thing. You can see all the services and their descriptions, which says, excuse me, why these services are being used, and what is the description, and what is the name of service. So you can do start, stop, or restart. Like if I'm clicking on any of the service like Proxmox Firewall, I can see it says stop, restart. That means this service is running. If I click on PVE cluster, so as I told you previously, it's just one node, so I cannot enable clustering. You can see it says start, stop. Those two services are grayed out, but the other one, restart, is still available. PVE firewall, it's running. And if I click on, let's say, PVE daemon, that's also running. And there should be like some service which should say start or something. Yeah, like this one, CoroSync. This service is not running, so you can't see stop or restart. Like those two features are grayed out. So if you want to start this service, just simply click on start. Okay, under network, for me, honestly, it was a bit confusing when I started using it. Like, what's going on? What I did, I'm gonna show you exact mistake what I made. I clicked on Linux Bridge. I didn't search anything. I swear down. I swear to God, like I didn't search anything on Google. I was just doing just to test my knowledge. So how further I can go. And honestly saying, there was only like few things. I went on Google to check like what's going on. For this one, it made me crazy. Even I rebooted the machine and I thought, oh, that's a weird thing, because if you do update on your Proxmox and then you have to restart the whole server, that's that's not something good. So I was like, I'm gonna move back to ESXi server, VMware, which is like, for me it was easy because I had this administrator job, and I was working on vCenter and all those virtual environment, but I never got any experience in Proxmox from my jobs, like from my previous jobs. Even now, at my work, we're not using Proxmox because my job is working with different stuff. Anyways, that's a different story. So what I did, I created a Linux bridge, and I wanted to assign a port. So let's say by default it's gonna be like at least one um, bridge already created, VMBR 0, when you like install your operating system. So I created this, and then I was like, okay, so currently I'm using, let's say, Inno 4, which is port number 4. I was like, okay, I'm gonna use Inno 1, and then this is going to be all the stuff. Since I'm using this inside my Proxmox, I don't need to provide any IP address, because this interface will be used by, let's say, I'm using OpenSense, so it's going to be like OpenSense LAN network. So IP is coming directly from the OpenSense, so I don't need to add any IP on my bridge. I created this, and then I went directly to my firewall. I added stuff, and on the like machine, nothing is like, no machine is getting the IP address. Even I'm setting the static IP address, and I'm like, tired. What's going on? What's wrong? Then I went ahead and rebooted the entire server. After the reboot, all the machines were getting IP address from DHCP. And then I'm confused. What the hell just happened? Like, this is not right. This shouldn't be something related to any hypervisor, because if you do that all the time, like you create a new machine and you add a new network, and then you have to reboot the entire service, and let's say you have 10 clients, they have like different 10 machines, and they're in production. For the 11th client, you cannot afford to reboot all those, and without their confirmation, if they confirm you, that could be like sometimes on weekend, and you can't afford to wait to have new client be waiting a week to set up just a virtual machine. It's going to be like, no, I'm going to another service provider, because they're providing their machine like within a minute, or let's say within 10 minutes. So there should be somewhere, right? Okay, so what was the issue? So once you do everything, I forgot to click on apply changes, and I never paid attention to that. And then I was setting up a new Proxmox server, like I have multiple server. Then I realized, oh, okay, so there is a button called apply changes. And as you click on apply configuration, like that means it applies the configuration, it restarts the networking services, and like you're good to go. Once you click on apply changes, your setting is done. Even on this side, you can see all of those, not all of those, but the active ones like Inno 4 and VMBR 2. They're both saying active, and auto start, and VLAN. But the main thing, active status is on these two, but this one is still not active. If I click on apply changes, so it's gonna do some networking things, and now you can see it says yes, even it's on auto start. So that was one thing that took me, like, sometimes there are like tiny mistakes you make while you're learning something, and sometimes those tiny things takes a lot of time. Even recently I had a printer, and I I was having a really hard time with that, and then when I realized, oh shoot, it was that easy, so simple. Because when you're like, I think when you work on complicated things, your brain becomes complicated, and when you see simple things, you try to make them complicated as well. Like I was trying to search for drivers and all that stuff on the printer, the new one I got, and then I'm trying to like set up some kind of networking on that. It doesn't have the network port, but it was using Wi-Fi, and then I'm trying to like get Wi-Fi network card connected or setting up a bridge with the LAN so I can access it from my laptop, my LAN network. And then when I realized it was like already there, and I was like, oh man, why I was making it so complicated. Anyways, so that's how these network kind of stuff work. And for certificates, honestly saying I didn't do anything on this one because using certificates on your service from let's say if you're using Cloudflare DNS, for me that's the best one. For all the web kind of services for port 443 and port 80, you can even set up uh, what do you call that, proxy. That means let's say my IP address is public IP address is 19.100.100.54. But if I set proxied on Cloudflare, if you ping my website, it's gonna show you some IP like 175.174.11, which is some random IP address. So that means it's giving you another layer of privacy when somebody is trying to hack or send some bot traffic. That's not going to happen because they won't be able to uh, check your exact IP address where your website is uploaded until there are a few things. I don't think I should be sharing that because you never know if any hacker is watching or somebody who's trying to become a hacker. But it's not that a big of a deal. Like let's say if you have a mail server sitting on your server, so definitely your mail settings cannot be proxied, or there are more ports which cannot be proxied. So specifically web related services, like I'm opening this page, Proxmox page, and other thing we can say like your firewall if you want to access it using your FQDN, and then there should be like more services, WordPress, and more portals. You can say like if you have any kind of ticketing system on your web host or any kind of other web related portal, all of those can be proxied using the Cloudflare. Okay, so the next thing is DNS. Here you have two options. If you want to, you can move it to Google DNS, but if you have your own DNS, then use that. And under host, you can update all the settings here as well, what I showed you in the start of my video if you are not able to access shell and all that stuff. So even Proxmox gives you that all options. So under options, it's MAC address on for wake on LAN. If you want to set that up, you can set up a MAC address to like wake through LAN feature enabled, but your MAC address, excuse me, your MAC address should be matching with this number, with this MAC address. Like if you're using a laptop, connect to a specific port or sorry, with a specific MAC address. So that laptop, that only laptop should be able to access the wake on LAN feature for this Proxmox. Okay, start on boot delay, it's set on default, but if you want to increase that, you can do that. And then RAM usage default is 80%. I think it should be fine, but if you want to increase that, you can do that as well. Okay, under time, make sure you set your correct time. Under system logs, you will see all the logs and the live mode and all that. You can see whatever we did, it's showing the updated this. Anyways, we went through updates already, and then under firewall, I don't use firewall for on Proxmox itself, it's better to use any external firewall. If not, then you're okay to use this one and set rules step by step. But this video is this live stream is not specifically for firewall. That's why I'm not getting into it. It's people who understand firewalls. It's simple. It's a security guard. Allow people in or allow people out, or allow traffic in, allow traffic out. Simple. And that's it. And then again, there is more logs. All right. Under LVM, under disks. So currently you can see I have STA, which is 500 gigs. And it's showing me the serial number, and PERC 710 is actually the RAID card controller. So it's added in RAID. And then STA is for this, I'm going to say this system main drive where the operating system is installed. So by default, what it's going to do, it's going to use, I guess, 10 to 15% of the space for the installation media like Debian version, the Proxmox files, and all that stuff. So it's using BIOS boot, like for BIOS kind of files, it's using 1.3 MB, which is a good amount. And then for EFI files, yeah, that was something I was thinking about boot files, but that's not for actually EFI, because EFI has to be minimum 100 MBs, but the more is the better. Oh my god, it's my hater, I guess, making me dizzy. Anyways, it's been an hour. I'm continuously talking. Okay, the third one is the main one, which is LVM, and in the LVM there is like two more portions, so it's just showing a complete portion number. If I go to let's say under LVM, now you can see it's going to show me two different here, or maybe not, but here you can see on the side local and local LVM. So in the disks it was showing 400 something, but now here you can see the local LVM is going to be used for your virtual machines, for your containers, and yeah, these two actually, containers and VM disks. So you cannot use it for anything else. And for your local data store, which is 100 gigs, it's going to be used for backups. You can even download templates, ISO images, but you cannot do that on your local LVM. To add more things into this like local LVM, now you can see here it's showing VM disk and the CD volumes, but it's not showing ISO or backup stuff. For that, we need to go into data center, and we will talk about that later in a minute. Okay, then under disk, if there is any unused disk, you can add that as well. Like currently it's just showing me these two, and I have this SDB and SDC and SDD. These three are like one terabyte, but they were like previously used somewhere, so they're showing some different information. Sorry. But in case if I want to use them, like these three, I can simply wipe the disk and click on, if I want to create LVM, I can simply click on LVM volume. Currently it's saying no unused because those are not wiped. Let's do that. Why wait? So let's say SDB or SDC. Just make sure there is nothing here. Yeah, I'm gonna just wipe SDC. Okay, SDC is wiped, so there is no GPT and no modification. So smart results are not being showed because they're all in a RAID controller. If you use HBA card or you convert your RAID card to be used as non-RAID, then you should be able to see directly uh, all the smart details. But with the RAID card controller, you can't see that, as far as I have experienced. There may be ways for that, but I never tried to dig in more in that. Okay, so if I go to LVM now, if I click on create new, it should show me a new disk and I can set up a name and I should be good to go, right? But I prefer creating a directory related disk. Why? What I have noticed, if you create LVM in under the disks, what happens if you create, let's say, a virtual machine? Let's say I have created a virtual machine of Windows 11 and I have assigned 500 GB space of disk to that machine, that one machine, 500 GB. And in the LVM, if I click on my disk, it's going to show me the disk usage is 500 GBs. And since it's 1 TB, it's going to be like, okay, 500 GB is free and 500 GB is used. But when I did that using the directory, I don't know what's the basic difference, but what I'm telling you is my experience. I created a directory and then I did the same thing. And when I went to check the disk space, it says 28 GB is used. And I was still able to use 900 and let's say 60 GB of free space for other machines. As I was using more and more space on my Windows 10 11 machine, let's say I used 100 gigs, then it was showing me that 100 gigs is used, but still I was able to use the rest of 900. But on the LVM, once you assign a space, that means that is specifically assigned for that specific machine. So again, if a customer is like paying a good amount of money, I'm not saying what or whatever your rate is, and you think he's paying me a good amount of money and he deserves to be using this amount of disk, and there should be no problem at all for like all other stuff, then you set that dedicated space for that customer. That means you should be using LVM kind of stuff for that. Like that space is now dedicated for that customer, and you can't get it back until you delete the machine or do more modification. But in the directory, what happens is, like, let's say if our client is using 10 GB and you have set that client, or you set the disk space 100 GB, it's like on the Windows machine itself, it's gonna still show 500 gigs. If you have assigned 500 gigs, it's still gonna show 500. But on the disk size, like on your server, it will show whatever is used. Isn't it amazing? It was amazing for me, and then I started using this. Okay, and then there's a ZFS. If you want to create a RAID of your disk with the software RAID, then ZFS is the option. Ceph is for clustering, and I don't think you can configure that or not. And then there is like more stuff for clustering as well. Okay, now I'm going to go into data center, and I said I'm going to show you something more in a minute. I'm going to show that how you can add ISO images and more stuff in other disk, like the local LVM. Okay, so first of all, try to find storage, and once you are in storage, click on local LVM, and it's going to show you these options. Oh, so you cannot actually, but what you can is if you have a new disk. If you don't have a new disk, then no, there's only 100 gigs of space for ISO backups and stuff. But I recommend using another disk. So I'm going to go into directory and then simply create one file system. It's going to ask, I'm going to say ext, and then let's say I'm making this for backups. So I'm going to type backups, enter, and then yeah, here you can see I'm gonna go back into my data center. Well, first let me show you. If you go into backups, you can see all of the stuff is already available. But in case if you wanna, if you don't want to use anything like ISO images or any kind of stuff, you just want to use it for backup. So just uncheck all of those. Just keep the backups. So this is specifically assigned for backups. And let's say if you feel like, no, I want this disk to be having ISO images and backups. That's it. There shouldn't be any kind of container image, any kind of disk image, or anything else. So you can just leave these two selected. And as I click OK, previously when we checked, it was showing like multiple options here. Now it's only backups and ISO images. So it's all in your hand when you create a different directory with a different LVM. I haven't checked it, but different directory, you get like so many available options. So for me, it worked fine. Again, it depends on how you're running your business or how you're doing your test or what is required. Or for me, it's all knowledge. Like the more you know, the more you can explain things in better way, and you get more ideas. So in the data center, you can, yeah, if you want to create more users, you have options here. Sorry, let's go step by step. In the summary, you will see online and offline nodes. Well, currently we have only one node, so that's why it's saying only one node online, offline 0. If you have more than one node, as I told you in the start of this live stream, you can have as many Proxmox nodes as you want on under your one data center. All right. So then in the next one, in the guests, it's saying how many virtual machines are running, how many containers are running, how many resources are you're using, and then under nodes, you will also see what is online and what's the server IP address and what's the CPU usage, memory usage, and the uptime. Nodes is the same thing. Cluster is not the topic today. Under options, we have different things here. So HTTP proxy, we're using none. So make sure it's selected to none. Otherwise, if you have any proxy kind of stuff, you can use that. For email, you can set email. Let's say one of the backup fails, it will send email using this address, root and your host name, whatever your FQDN is. If you want to change it, you can change this MAC address prefix. It's going to start with this, and then replication setting, HA. These are all cluster related. And then U2F setting, I don't know what that is. Web auth, we are not going to enable. We are going to work on setting up two-factor authentication, which is like the next thing I'm going to say. And then there's bandwidth limit. You can set bandwidth limit as well for backup, restore, migration, clone, and disk move. And default is set to none. So again, if you're taking backup or doing anything else, it's going to use your network. So if you do that for bigger machines or more frequent, make sure to set the bandwidth limits. Otherwise, what's going to happen is going to affect your customers, clients, or your running machine. Speed will be slow while it's running the backup. So once you set a speed limit for that, backups or migration, or well, you cannot do migration since there is no other node. So for backups, you can do the backups on one machine. That's perfectly fine. You set up some limit. Excuse me. Okay. Next thing is maximal workers bulk action. So it simply makes sense how many maximum workers can work at the same time. Number set is 4. Next free VMID range is set to default. So VMID starts with 100, but you can set whatever you want. Like, let's say if I have 3 different machines and the second one I want to start with number 200 and go up to, let's say, 299. That's the lowest and the highest number. I can do that. But this one I'm fine because it's a test machine. So added tag color override. So full is going to be preview or just the number. So this is for the tags. Like, I have another machine, I don't want to open it, but when you create a machine, it gives you option to see the tags. So if you set up a tag with color, let's say, what was that? Okay. If you set up, let's say, Linux machine with the color of purple and Microsoft with color of green. So with tag style override, with every machine, there should be a dot saying this machine. Let me see if it is open somewhere. No. It's going to show you a dot. For Linux machine, it's going to be, let's say, green or red. Well, actually, let's do that on Proxmox 2, where I have a few machines and I tested few things and it was logged in. Okay, so here you can see currently it's not showing, but what I'm gonna do is I'm going into, let's say, this machine, and then under tags here you can see it's showing me no tag. So I'm gonna click on add tag and I'm gonna say firewall. Then it created this color green for me, and sorry, it's not green, whatever color it is. And for Linux, let's say I'm gonna add a tag, so I can even search for the previous tags. If I click on this, it's gonna show me previous tags, but I want to create a new one, Linux, and this one is in purple, and let's say this one, I'm just giving it a random name, so I'm not sure what those machines actually are. I'm gonna name it Microsoft. So this one is kind of red. Now you can see it's showing me different colors. So what that option do, if you want to show just the colors or the tag names as well, like full, let's go into options and under tag style override. So it's not overriding anything currently because it's just showing default circle. If I do full, then it's going to show me the preview of tag name as well. Circle is simple circle. Dense is going to be just a cursor bar in the color. So if I click on that one, now you can see it's showing me the complete name of the tags. Well, that was not a big deal, but I wanted to show you. Okay, then user tag access mode is free. And if you do none, and no, we're not doing this. So I have set this to none, so that way it shouldn't show me the nag message, I guess, the tag access. No, that was not it. That was available in 8 point something somewhere, but I did that using the command line. And then the consent text. This is a good thing. If you have like multiple users, sorry, multiple users, or let's say there is always a consent text on switches, firewalls, routers you access. Like whatever you do, it's going to be recorded and can be used against, if you do anything against this policy, that can be used for any kind of, like, for against you for not following the rules. So this is something that consent line consent to go further or not. Anyways, I don't have any consent line because this is just a test server. And then under storage, again, you can do different kind of modification. If you click on edit, for this is for the general backup retention. If you want to retain any backups, since the name is backup and it's enabled, make sure it's enabled, not shared. Shared option is useful when you have cluster. And then more features here. I showed you that previously. I don't want to do that again. Okay, so here we have options for running backups on multiple nodes. Since we have one node, still we can do that. As I said, yes, we can do that backup. We can do all the sorry, I'm a little tired talking too much. So simply click on add, and then start adding your machines. Currently we don't have any machines, so that's why it's saying you don't have anything. What do you want to schedule? So we have different kind of already set up, scheduled, run this time, and like the presets we have here, you can set schedule using any of those, because I don't see the custom option here. But if you want custom option, I can create a script for that, but it depends. Then you can include selected VMs, all, or exclude selected, or pool based. So if you have ZFS pool, stuff like that. Then the compression level, then the mode, and then the notification going to be sent, and then the retention. Retention means how many days, how many hours, how many weeks, how many years you're going to retain, like keep that backup file inside your storage. Like let's say I set a 1 for 1 month and I run backup today. By the next month of today's date, I will still have this backup what I took today. And then the next day, that specific backup will be deleted from the storage. So that means if something happens in 15 days, 20 days, I still have a backup file and I can gain all of my files back. So you can click on keep all backups, then it's gonna turn off everything. Otherwise, you can say keep last one, like one last backup, or you can say keep monthly one backup, what I explained just now. Then keep hourly, keep weekly, keep yearly. Whatever you want to set. Again, it depends on how much free space you have on your disk and what is the size of your backup. Simple calculation, plus minus, no rocket science. Replication, you can do that because you have only one node. Replication needs at least 2 nodes, so you should have at least 2 nodes to turn on replication. And then under the permission section, here we have the users. Now to create new user, simply add username, password, permissions, done. Then there is the next thing, what I was saying I'm going to show you. And this is going to be the last thing because I'm so tired and my head hurts. Oh my God. I've been speaking for 1 hour non-stop. Okay. So simple and clear-cut method using Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator or any kind of authenticator on your phone. You're going to use simply TOTP. Scan this code using your Google Authenticator. It will give you your Google Authenticator will give you a code after scanning this. Enter the code here in this in the verify section. In the description, make sure you write a good description to like next time when you see this login code is for what. Let's say you are adding this in your phone, iPhone 17 Pro Max. Right in the description, iPhone 17 Pro Max related to Taha. Or if you're creating let's say you are in the production environment and you have three administrators working on your nodes or your data center. So you can mention their name, their official IDs, or their what you call that, employee ID, just to like differentiate from other users, and you can assign those. So when you log in first time, how it's gonna look like, let me show you that. So I hope this one is not logged in already. If it is, then I'll need to log it out. So if I click on login, here you can see it's asking me to enter a TOTP verification. So that way you can secure your Proxmox. And I think that should be all for now. Yeah, under groups, not a big deal. Making groups for security reasons, and roles, you can assign different roles. Yeah, and as I said, I'm already so tired and I'm out of words. So thank you so much, whoever joined and whoever is watching this. And if you have watched this until now, I salute you guys. Like, really, you guys are Mahan. Anyways, see you guys next time. I'm just going to end this stream. So I'm going to go take some rest, and then I'll try to make more videos because I'm out of videos now. And I was searching for topics. What topic should I choose? And because there's two things what I know, what I want to share, what you guys don't want to see. I don't care what the hell you're making. There's the list of what you guys want to see. And for me, sometimes it's like, yeah, oh man, it's so basic. I don't want to make a video on that one. Like, sometimes I laugh at myself. I made that teeny tiny video, like I'm gonna say a video what took me literally 25 minutes to make the video, to set the thumbnail, edit the video, and post it. And that video is waving around somewhere at like 20,000 views. And I'm like, man, that's so surprising, because I was thinking that video is not gonna even get 10 views because I didn't do anything. But that video is like, and then there is a video I remember. I spent almost 12 days making that video, and that video just got 400 views. For me, that's fine. 400 views are not bad. But again, when you think about making something in like less than in half an hour, and you're getting so many views and attention on that video, and then there is another video where you spent like almost 2 weeks setting things up, like doing all the tests and stuff, setting up labs and everything, and you get less than 1,000 views. That sometimes, oh, that's so irritating. But it's not my purpose to get more and more views. For me, it's something like what I like doing. And sometimes when I see people like saying thanks, I save their time. That's happiness for me. And that's all. And I'm going. See you guys some other time. Bye bye.